You are standing under a rocky overhang 40,000 years ago, and it hasn't stopped raining for 5 days. Not a gentle drizzle, cold, steady sheets that turn the earth to soup. Your animal skin clothes cling to you, heavy and sour. The ground is mud. The fire in front of you hisses and sputters, fighting for its life. You haven't had a proper hunt since the sky broke open. Tracks vanish in minutes. The children are restless. The air smells like wet fur, damp ash, and something metallic underneath it all. Fear. Rain doesn't just make you uncomfortable. In the Ice Age, rain could kill you. Hypothermia creeps in quietly. Wet feet rot. Food spoils. Predators, driven from flooded lowlands, move closer to high ground, closer to you. We like to imagine humans conquering nature with spears and strength, but sometimes survival meant doing almost nothing. Correctly. Keeping the fire alive. Keeping people calm. Waiting without falling apart. And the most important thing your ancestors did during long storms isn't what you think. So what actually happened when the sky didn't clear for a week? To answer that, we need to understand what rain meant in the deep past. So what did ancient humans actually do when it rained for 7 straight days? The honest answer is everything that mattered. Survival was never just about finding a dry spot and waiting it out. It depended on shelter, yes, but also on fire, on stored food, on group dynamics, and on the fragile machinery of the human mind. The obvious answer is simple: hide in a cave. The practical reality is less romantic. Someone has to keep the fire alive hour after hour. Someone has to ration food. Someone has to stop small arguments from turning into fractures. And here's the part most people don't expect. Long stretches of bad weather may have strengthened us. Rain forces stillness. Stillness forces interaction. Interaction forces culture. In that sense, prolonged rain was a kind of evolutionary stress test. Groups that couldn't cooperate, plan ahead, or manage tension didn't make it. Bad weather didn't just test your shelter, it tested your tribe. To see how serious that test was, we have to go back to the environments our ancestors actually lived in. The world our ancestors inhabited during the late Pleistocene was not stable. It swung between cold and less cold, dry and suddenly wet. Glaciers advanced and retreated. Meltwater reshaped rivers. In some regions, seasonal monsoons soaked the land for weeks. Humans weren't confined to a single African savanna. They spread into dense forests, open grasslands, river valleys, and storm-lashed coasts. Wherever water moved, we followed, and rain changes everything. Hunting becomes guesswork when tracks dissolve into mud within minutes. Prey animals shift routes or hunker down. Rivers swell and cut off familiar paths. Damp conditions invite parasites, mold, and bacteria. Meat spoils faster. Skin never fully dries. If humans were passive creatures, this would have ended the story. But the archaeological record tells a different one. Cave sites across Europe and the Levant show repeated hearth construction, layer upon layer of ash, carefully maintained in the same spots. Mammoth bone huts in Eastern Europe reveal deliberate shelter building in open landscapes. Needles dated to over 40,000 years ago suggest tailored clothing, stitched hides that trap heat even when the air turns raw. When the world turned to mud, humans built islands of warmth. They carved out dry, controlled pockets inside chaotic ecosystems. The most obvious strategy was shelter, but shelter alone wasn't enough. The first answer is the simplest. They got out of the rain. Caves, rock overhangs, dense tree cover, or constructed huts made from wood, bone, and hide became temporary fortresses against the sky. Archaeologists have found evidence that people didn't just collapse anywhere inside these spaces. Hearths are often placed centrally, with sleeping areas slightly elevated or pushed toward drier edges. In some open-air sites, subtle slopes suggest drainage awareness. Even 30,000 years ago, humans understood something basic. Water flows downhill. Don't sleep there. Then there was fire. Not just starting it, keeping it alive. Embers buried under ash can smolder for hours, sometimes days. Resin-rich woods burn hotter and longer, even when slightly damp. Many cave sites show hearths rebuilt in the same spots over generations, layers of charcoal stacked like a timeline of survival. Because once your fire dies in relentless rain, restarting it isn't trivial. Experimental archaeologists have tried. Wet wood resists sparks. Friction methods fail. Hands blister. Without fire, clothes stay soaked. Meat can't be cooked. Predators creep closer to darkness. Fire was heat, safety, food, light. It was control. But staying dry and keeping a fire alive only solves the physical problem. The real danger of 7 days of rain wasn't just cold. It was instability. Because rain doesn't just threaten your body, it threatens your food. Here's the counterintuitive truth. Surviving a week of rain begins long before the first drop falls. The groups that endured weren't just